Nobody, I think this whole marriage is a mistake. And nobody was looking at her. Faith, are you okay? What are you saying? Faith said, yes, I think this marriage is a mistake. I want a divorce. There's a saying that the environment you groom your child will affect them on the long run. And there's also a saying that whatsoever you do in front of your child, know that that child is watching. So let's dive into the story of the day. Many, many years ago, in the beautiful city of Port Harcourt, there lived this couple, Mr. and Mrs. Timothy. Mr. and Mrs. Timothy Black were everything good in the people's eyes, right? They were rich. They owned lots and lots of estates scattered around Port Harcourt. Mrs. Timothy was a medical doctor, whereas her husband was into the real estate business. Everything seemed perfect in their home, except for the fact that they barely agreed on anything. It felt like Mr. Timothy Black was always trying to suppress his wife. Probably they sat on the bed and made an agreement for something, but in the long run, when it was time to execute that thing, he was going to do that thing he wanted to do. He was going to end up doing it the way he had always wanted it to be done. And this led to constant arguments, constant misunderstanding. But the very funny thing was that no matter how they argued, they never ever thought about divorcing one another. In fact, they loved themselves that way. Growing up, Faith watched her parents closely. She observed everything they did, ranging from arguing early in the morning to arguing late at night. Whenever it was time for her to go to school, she just quickly get herself ready on her own and head out to school, because probably she was about to ask her mom to go drop her in school. And getting to her parents' room, her father and mother was arguing about something that wasn't even meaningful. She didn't even know why they argued a lot. But this gradually started affecting her psychologically, because she felt that there was nothing like a happy home. Being a very calm child, she had friends in her class, but she never ever told her friends about the kind of lifestyle her parents lived, because her parents often donated large amounts of money to her school. Her school saw her parents with high esteem. So Faith couldn't come to school to belittle her parents, right? She knew she had to close her mouth. She had to seal her mouth and live like the perfect child her parents had always wanted her to live. When Faith was done with primary school, she had opted to go to boarding school for secondary school. This opinion of hers brought about a serious argument between her both parents. Her father was okay with it, being that that's what she wanted. Her mom wasn't even okay with it. Her mom complained that her father was one trying to brainwash her into going to boarding school. And she stated the fact that Faith was their only child. So what was the need sending Faith to a boarding school? That was one. Two, going to a secondary school from home wasn't even going to affect her in any way. They barely saw her. The moment Faith was done with school for the day, she goes to her room and doesn't even want to come out, aside when it was time to eat dinner. Not like she didn't have good communication with her parents, but her parents were always arguing about unnecessary things. As the days went by, her father still stood on the fact that she could go to a boarding school if that was what she wanted. Her mom kept on saying no, that was separating Faith from them. When this argument lasted for a week, Faith decided to stay at home. If that was what was going to bring peace, then she was going to stay at home. And that was how Faith went to her secondary school from home. Whenever she was coming back and her dad decides to pick her from school, her dad often buys her chocolate or ice cream if she demands for it. But the moment she gets back home and her mom finds out that she took either chocolate or ice cream, her mom was going to start throwing a tantrum, stating the fact that her dad was spoiling her, stating the fact that Faith could develop one health issue or the other. Too much of sweets isn't good for a child. Too much of ice cream isn't good for a child. Too much of chocolate isn't good for a child. Or does he want their daughter to have diabetes? Faith did not even know why her mom was always complaining about all the things, because taking ice cream wasn't something she often did. It was just when she felt like. And because of her mom often complained about it, during her 16th birthday, Faith had told her mom that she didn't want to celebrate it. In fact, she didn't want to even celebrate her birthday anymore. What was the essence of celebrating her birthday with a cake when she couldn't have cake whenever she feels like? What was the essence of celebrating her birthday and getting her friends to come to the house to celebrate it in a big way, when if she feels like having chocolate, she can't have it, but she can have it during her birthday? So there was no need. She just told herself, that was the best way to live. Her mom had called her and tried to apologize to her about it and tried to make Faith understand that she wasn't against the fact that she was taking chocolate or anything, and she didn't want Faith to cancel her birthday celebrations because of it. But Faith told her mom that, Mom, I'm not doing it because of it. I just don't want to celebrate my birthday anymore. And I'm grown. Why do I even need my classmates in my house every time during my birthday? During my birthday, I'll do it the way I want. If I feel like going shopping, I'll go for shopping. If I feel like going to the library, I'll go to the library. Her mom had told her no problem. But gradually, Faith started changing her lifestyle. Anything she does that was going to make her parents to argue, she was going to stop doing it. If she braids her hair and her dad tends to complain about the color of the braid or anything, she was never going to make that color again in order to avoid any misunderstanding between her parents. Faith was even practically walking on eggshell because she wasn't living her life the way she wanted. She just wanted to avoid quarrel in her home. And with the passing days, Faith was almost done with secondary school. When she was done with secondary school, she couldn't wait to leave the house. Like finally she was going to be far from her parents, because she didn't even understand what love felt like. She didn't know what family, the bond felt like. She had never ever sat down with her both parents to have a proper dinner. They were ready to argue on the dinner table. The moment one person was saying something contradicting the other, an argument will start. She had never even had to watch television with both of them. The regular vacation that people went to, it was never ever possible. It was either her mom couldn't leave job because she was a medical doctor, or her dad had a particular business transaction to round up. So if they were to go on vacation, it was either she was going with her mom or she was going with her dad. They had never gone together as a family. So she was really happy to be leaving home. This time around, nobody was going to stop her. So when Faith had written her WAEC, her NECO, her JAM, she did fantabulously well. She was very, very intelligent. Her mom had asked her what profession she had chosen. Faith said she wanted to be a nurse. Her mom said, nurse? Why don't you be a doctor? Can't you see that doctors are the best? Her dad said, being a nurse is okay. You feel like doctors are the best here in Nigeria. What if our daughter decides to travel abroad? Don't you know nurses earn higher abroad? If she wants to be a nurse, it's better she becomes a nurse. While Faith looked at her both parents argue, she didn't even know what to say. She did not even want to be a nurse. She wanted to be an engineer. She just said nursing in order to get their opinion. But this time around, rather than suggesting, they were arguing again. Faith just smiled and told her both parents, no problem. When I get to school, I'll decide on what I want to be. And when Faith got to school, she chose engineering. And that was how her both parents closed their mouths, because none of them won this time around. She was doing it her own way. She was doing it the way she wanted. She was really happy. While Faith was in school, she barely returned. Her both parents often called to check up on her and asking her if she wasn't going to come back. She kept on stating she needed to do one thing or the other. Oh, she didn't have time. The break was too short. There was no need coming back. They should just send her money. Unknown to Mr. and Mrs. Timothy Black, Faith was avoiding home. She didn't like the fact that she had to always witness her parents fight and argue for things that weren't even necessary. Things that they could sit down, talk about, and understand it for themselves. While Faith was in school, she avoided any relationship. Not because she didn't get admirers or anything, but she just wanted to concentrate and be done with school. Because she knew she wasn't ready for relationship drama and study. She knew it was better for her to focus when she was done with university, then she could decide on who to date and then face the relationship drama. Most of her classmates called her bookworm, stating that she didn't have any social life or anything, but she wasn't bothered. She knew that she didn't know what love meant or what love felt like. So she didn't want someone to come and deceive her or brainwash her with it. And gradually, when Faith was done with university, she had graduated with a first class. She got a job in a very big engineering firm. While working in this engineering firm, she had met this handsome man named Newberry. Newberry wasn't just handsome, he was well-mannered and very, very polite. Faith and Newberry got talking as Newberry's company had a particular business transaction with that of Faith's company, and that was how they met. So during the period of transaction and working together, they tend to like one another and they got talking. It gradually started with lunch dates, dinner dates, hanging out, movie nights, things that she wasn't able to do as a child or while she was in school. She gradually started doing it with Newberry. She enjoyed every bit of it. Her both friends, Chika and Nina, had asked her, Faith, this one you're in a relationship, what happened? What changed? We thought you were the kind of person that just wanted to get married without getting to know the man. Faith laughed and said, what do you mean? The fact that I avoided relationship while I was in school doesn't mean that I don't want to have a relationship with a man. I just didn't want any distraction. I just didn't have the strength for relationship drama. Newberry and Faith had a very beautiful relationship to the extent that she felt that her parents were not meant for each other. She did not have to explain herself too deep for Newberry to understand. There was a level of communication, there was a level of understanding, and the moment she felt that probably they were not understanding each other, she was going to try to close her mouth, try to sink whatever he was saying in and know if it was okay with her. When her friends asked her about Newberry, she often dished out good words about him, stating that Newberry was very, very understanding, and the fact that he listened to her was something that she liked. She didn't like people that don't want to listen. They just want you to hear what they had to say, and they wished her well. They were really, really happy for her because Faith had never really shared her family drama with anyone. 6 months down the line, Faith had already approved Newberry for herself. She was ready. If Newberry should pop the question, she was ready to get married to him. And it didn't take long. Newberry did pop the question. He had asked Faith to get married to him, and Faith got married to him. After marriage, things were still going on well. They were having their time, they were having their moments. Things were still going on perfectly fine. But gradually, little by little, the argument started. It was either Faith was trying to express her pain or say something to Newberry, but he wasn't listening. Not that he did not want to listen, but he had chosen not to listen. When this started, she made sure not to always be the one complaining. She made sure to always shut her mouth. But she found out that if she continued that way, she was being ignored. And she started asking herself what changed. When they were dating, he seemed like the perfect man. He seemed like the good person. He seemed like someone that loved to listen. So what had changed? How come he's not listening anymore? She had one day sat Newberry down and told Newberry to please listen to her. That if there was something she hates, it was when she was trying to explain herself or express herself, the person she was talking to wasn't listening. She needed him to listen. Then if he listens, he'll be able to understand her. Newberry had told her that it's not an issue, that she was just being too childish and too picky, that she just wanted everything her way. And Faith was trying to understand. My way? What do you mean my way? Do you think everything you ask me to do, I do it because I like it? I do it because we are married. I do it because there is a level of understanding. Do you think I want it my way? If I wanted it my way, we won't even be living in this place because I chose you from the one that I don't like this place. I didn't like the color, but you said it was so perfect. It blended with your skin tone and everything. Who lives in a gray house, for crying out loud? What happened to white? We don't even have kids. And you sit here and tell me I want it my way? Nobody, I think this whole marriage is a mistake. And nobody was looking at her. Faith, are you okay? What are you saying? Faith said, yes, I think this marriage is a mistake. I want a divorce. Nobody thought Faith was joking. He told her, I know you're joking, right? Don't worry, let's sleep about it. And they both went to bed. But when he had woken up the next morning, Faith was nowhere to be found. She had packed her belongings and moved out of the house. Nobody called her over and over again. She picked. She didn't avoid the call. She told nobody that if there was something she hates is when people don't listen. When you're married, you don't just make decisions based on your own opinion. You sit down, have a level of communication before you make the decision. I know that you've done some things based on our communication, but some others is like you don't want to listen to me. And if there's something I don't like is having to do the same thing my parents did, having to live the same life my parents lived. And nobody told her to return, that they should sit down and talk about it. Faith did return. Everything changed for at least a week. And 1 week down the line again, he had come back to being the same person. This time around, Faith went to her family house and invited nobody because she wanted to really divorce him. So when she got to her family house, she had told her parents that she wanted to divorce nobody. Her both parents were looking at her and asked her, are you okay? Your marriage is barely 2 months and you want to divorce him. Faith, why did you even get married? She looked at her both parents and started laughing. And when she was done laughing, she started clapping for them. And she asked them, good, why did I get married? Her parents were looking at her and she said, yes. Why did I even get married? When I told you I wanted to get married to nobody, did any of you ask me any reasonable question? No. What did you ask me, Dad? What is his family status like? Hope he can take care of you, my beautiful angel. Hope he's a good man. Hope his family is of good origin. Hope he's among the people our people can get married to. Was that not it? Mom, what did you ask me? Is he a Christian? Does he earn well? What is his nature of job? Was that not it? Did any of you sit down to actually tell me anything about marriage? Did any of you? Did you even tell me how a marriage should be? Did you even tell me what to expect in a marriage? Did you even tell me how to live in my husband's home? No. Mom, you never did that. You never even asked me anything about love. She looked at her parents and said, love. Oh God. You see that thing called love? I don't even know what it means. Because I have never experienced it in this house, and I think I am about to make the same mistake you both made. From the day you gave birth to me, you argued to the day I got married. Why? Why? I don't even know what love meant. And the very first man that listened to me, because I felt that love wasn't just telling someone I love you, but actually showing it. I don't even know why I got married to him. Probably because he listened to me. Probably because he wasn't ready to argue with me. And I felt that was love. And I married him. And 1 month down the line, we're already arguing. So please tell me, if I married him to avoid argument, why should I be with him if we are arguing? Because I felt like my own kind of love is to avoid arguments. Her both parents sat down looking at her. They didn't know what to say. They were shocked to their bone marrow. Faith kept on lamenting and lamenting. She wasn't even done with them. Her mom did not even for one day encourage her, tell her what to expect in a marriage. It was like sending a calf to a wolf den. Whatsoever that calf gets to see, so be it. And when she was done, she grabbed a glass of juice and drank while she was waiting for Nubari to enter. Nubari sat down and she still repeated herself, stating the fact that she wanted to divorce him. She told Nubari, if you think you'll be able to get married to me because you love me, because you understand me, and avoid arguments, then we won't divorce. But if you think this whole marriage, we're going to leave it based on arguments, then we have to cut it off. I don't want to make the same mistake my parents made. And that is why I have invited you home. We are barely 2 months into marriage, but we never ever agree. We always disagree to agree. Why? Her parents looked at her and told her to give Nubari time, and also told Nubari to please give their daughter some time, that they needed to talk to their daughter. Nubari left. The moment he left, he sat down in his car and processed everything. He's a man. He understood the fact that he's a man. And a man is above. A man is a leader. But at the same time, his wife is also there to support him. He needed to get approval. He needed to sit down and talk. Even if he wanted it his way, then he should try to make her understand and not try to impose it on her. He needed to embrace change. He needed to give her the time to actually accept everything. Whereas for her parents apologized to her because her foundation was a mess. She didn't grow up in love, so she did not even know the kind of love to expect from a man. She felt that not arguing with a man was love. Her parents had apologized to her and tried to encourage her in their own little way. Tried to make her understand that this is not how marriage is supposed to be. And no marriage is perfect, actually. You might not have arguments in your home, but something else can be the issue. It is the way you live through those moments. It is the way you walk through those moments. And if you start thinking about divorcing your husband at an early stage of marriage, it's not the right thing to do. It's just like bringing an intruder into your home. Faith gave it a moment. She took her time. She stayed in her parents' house. She watched them closely. After they heard what she said, they gradually learned to communicate better. 2 weeks down the line, she went back home. Her husband was waiting for her with an open arms. He had welcomed his wife back, and things gradually started changing. There was better communication. Things were done when both of them felt it was okay to be done. Faith learns to love from her home, and she made sure that she passed down this love to her children. She taught them to love one another. She taught them things that she couldn't learn when she was little. Thank you very much for listening to the story of the day. Please, I'd like you to share what you've learned from this one. But the take home from the story today is please and please, parents, whatsoever you do, just know that your little one is watching. For Faith, you can see, she felt that getting married to someone that wasn't going to argue with her was love, because she didn't get love from home. And one thing we should know is that if a child can't get love from home, any interpretation of love outside is love to them. The moment someone tells them, I love you outside, it is love to them. So we should learn and encourage ourselves in our own little way to give love at home. The best love a child can get is the love at home. The love gotten from home. Please and please, I'd like you to share what you've learned from this. Do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to get more interesting stories like this. Share to your loved ones. And so we'll see you again in our next story. Will still remain your one and only Zika.